I don't know if it's gonna affect the music because I mean, maybe for some of the songs he wrote with about girls, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the stuff that pertains to, females and, fucking bitches getting money, whatever, maybe stuff in those kind of categories for songs, but he has a catalog. He has so much out there.
SouLivate.
So a lot of good shit coming. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is what we ended the last episode with.
Yeah.
The battle between Drake and K Dot, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to come into this from like a different perspective, because everyone's obviously talking about who won, who lost, who that. This is what I wanted to ask and how I wanted to come into it.
Yeah.
Drake being the artist of your generation, meaning you were still a teenager when he came out and when he started to get popular.
Yeah.
From your generation and from your musical experience, what is the impact of Drake to your generation? Let's start with Drake.
God, I mean, Drake growing up, was huge for all of us. I mean, I remember being in middle school hearing, people from my football team in our lockers just like playing his shit just on shuffle, just casually, still playing it through high school, even after high school. I got into Drake roughly when I was about like 13, 14. That was like when I discovered him. When I really dove into his career and I actually started to listen to him a little more consistently was like, say around like 2016, like 2017, which was like the What a Time to Be Alive era, with Future and him, I believe. Yeah, I mean, impact wise, he's done a number on us. I mean, his music, as much as people want to controversially say it's not classic, I disagree. It's classic music. It's classic rap music. It's classic hip hop, and like it's a part of the culture.
What gripped you about Drake, you personally? Like, what was the most gripping thing? Because it's easy to just fall in love with an artist because he's becoming mainstream, but like, you personally, you having that musical ear, what was the one thing that like really gripped you about him?
Well, the one thing I really liked about him that kind of gravitated me towards him was like, he was running with Rick Ross and shit way back in the day. You go back to the Aston Martin music days. Man. Maybach music and shit, that whole Young Money with Wayne and like, Nicki and shit like that, Tiger, like, there was kind of like a whole clique and circle. And then obviously, working with Ross and, MMG and shit, there was something so fucking dope about that. Like the early days, the idea of, a light-skinned Jewish guy. He's Jewish, correct?
He's Jewish. His mother's Russian Jew, actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I never knew that. Russian Jew. Yeah. Shit. But yeah, he's, a light-skinned, Jewish guy that, came up from a TV show, Degrassi, most likely had an in, obviously. You come from television.
You ever watched Degrassi?
I did watch some Degrassi, believe it or not. And the funny, dude, it was so crazy. Like when I first discovered him, like I literally thought I knew his ass from somewhere, and goes to show he was in Degrassi. I was like, damn. Well, that's cool.
Because that show was big in Canada, man. But
yeah, it was.
So I think the big thing that, like, personally to me, because for me it wasn't as big of an impact, let's say, as for your generation, because I come from a generation before, from the golden era. So to me it was just a great artist. But what did you think about the fact that he can rap like that and then sing like that?
I thought it was dope. I mean, it showed versatility. You know what I mean? It showed that he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid to try other things and go into other genres and other lanes, and like, even with his rap cadences, like if you go to a lot of his songs where he's rapping over boom bap beats, he has his own flow. He has his own way of, actually tone, like his own vocal tone is very catered to like a certain vibe that he has. You know, I think certain aspects he takes from other rappers a little bit for influence. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like Ross kind of has a certain way of flowing and how he says
Yeah,
his bars and like, you know, what he does. I feel like when Drake was really running with him and shit way back in the day, like he kind of picked up on that kind of idea and it
yeah.
stuck a little bit. Um, you know, but I think like I think for him as an artist, he's definitely influenced by a lot of other people. And, you know, he kind of homes it to make his own swag. And again, like the fact that he can sing and, you know, he can rap is obviously fantastic, you know, and a versatility bracket.
What do
Yeah.
you think? What do you think about the whole rumor, and basically when he was battling Meek Mill, that the whole rumor or fact, I don't know what it is, man, that he doesn't write his own rhymes. Like, what do you think about that, and how important is that?
Well, I obviously think it's important as a rapper that, you know, you got to be able to write your own shit. You know, it's one thing if you're in the studio and, you know, your label's putting you in with like other songwriters to help you that, you know, are Grammy nominated. You know, that's just other people to be contributed to the part of the puzzle, you know, or the song or the project, whatever it might be. Um, I don't know if he ghostwrites. I mean, there's a lot of artists that, you know, are hushed down and, you know, write for other artists and they get paid, but they're not credited. You know, it's the industry. At the end of the day, like, you know, if you want to be a part of something and get credited for it, you obviously can. But, you know, if you want to be that guy to, you know, go ghostwrite for people or ghostwrite for Drake, you know,
But
half of the time
does
that's under wraps.
does it take away from the artist that he is if we do in fact find out that he doesn't write?
Like if he didn't write anything or if he just had help for certain things. What do you
No,
mean?
if he doesn't write his own
Just
song,
in general.
just in
Oh, well, if he doesn't write any of his own stuff, I feel like that's corny in my opinion. I feel like you as an artist got to hold up to what your capability is. And if you're taking away your own talent to write, then why are you a rapper? The whole
see.
point of being a rapper or singer is to be able to write your own stuff.
Look, I hate to break it to all you young cats and to all you purists out there,
Go
but
ahead.
when you're a figure like Drake, when you're an artist on that level, I'm sorry to say to you, there's a whole team behind that
Yes,
project. There are
absolutely.
because there's way too much writing, you know what I'm saying? Writing on that, bro. Like there's
Yeah.
millions and millions of dollars. There are families that are being fed, bro. So when you walk into that studio with these mega artists, man, there is a whole team that are
Yeah.
exchanging ideas and pitching different things. Like, I hate to break it to y'all, it's not like Drake is in the basement, like, you know what I'm saying, just penning his own shit, man. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that because he himself already is an industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's way too much writing. There's only a very few artists, from what I know, that are still like completely solo, completely dolo, writing by themselves.
Yeah.
Um, Now, this the second thing, because we're gonna let you go soon because I see you getting tired, man. Um,
I'm
we
holding up. I need a little hoagie and I'll be all right.
Nah, man, we appreciate you being here as always, bro.
Absolutely.
So
SouLivate
what
Squad.
what if like the rumor that K Dot talked about like the whole allegations of him talking to young girls and all that, what if that comes out to be true? How much will that take away from what Drake is to your generation?
A lot. That's a death sentence, in my opinion. If we're talking like the internet and what it really is now compared to what it used to be, he's done. I mean, like cancel culture is unfortunately a real fucking thing. You know, the internet and most people nowadays that are, you know, on the internet and read into things or a part of things, you know, they don't play. And like that's the thing. It's like the internet's a fucking joke. If you're putting your stuff out there and you're trying to be this big, you know, perfect artist, like you're bound to have something that comes up that's going to be bad at some point. But touching kids and like, you know, pedophilic shit or like, you know, anything that revolves around, you know, sex allegations or anything like that, like that's very, very fucking down looked upon no matter what. That's across the board. Like I don't think I've ever met a guy that's been like, or a woman that's like, yeah, that's great. You know, that's something that's a what's the word? It can what's the word? Fuck. It can damage your career.
So, but my question is, will that take away from the impact that he's had on music? Because this is something personal. Music
Oh,
is, that's my question, man.
ooh, oh. Ah, I think it's gonna. I mean, it'll tarnish his reputation, but I don't know if it's gonna affect the music because at the. I mean, maybe for some of the songs he wrote with about girls, you know what
Mm,
I'm saying? Maybe the stuff that pertains to females and fucking bitches getting money, whatever. Maybe stuff in those kind of categories for songs, but he has a slew. He has a catalog. He has
mm.
so much out there. I mean, to say that one crazy allegation that could tarnish his entire career could say that it's going to tarnish his whole entire catalog. I mean, it's kind of like the whole fucking bullshit with Michael Jackson, and the whole idea of, he used to bring kids obviously to the mansion that he had. And
Mhm.
like, he's dead now, but people still talk about it and speculate, is it real or not?
Yeah,
But I
but
would assume when that came out, that fucked up his career a little
yeah,
bit.
but people still rock with Michael Jackson as far as
Right.
musically goes, and that's the
Right.
whole thing. Look, man, I'm gonna let you go because I want you to get rest. So next time we're gonna talk about the same thing as far as K Dot and shit like that. But this is my
Yeah.
last question on Drake. What is your favorite song or project from Drake? Song, first song, and then project.
Song.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Like
that's a
favorite
tough one.
single, favorite song, favorite, demo, whatever.
I mean, one of the most influential. I mean, it's kind of silly, but I mean, and people will probably clown me for it. But like, one of the, I'd say if we're talking like a hype Drake song, like Big Rings, like him and Future was like one of the coolest like songs that hit me. Where I was
Where's
like, oh, this is sick. That was from What a Time to Be Alive. That
okay.
was the collab album with him with Future, and I was a huge Future head, like DS2, all of his projects. I was
Yeah.
dummy on Future growing up. So like seeing Drake kind of merge with him, that was like, oh shit, this is Drake. Let me really dive in and see what he's about.
Mhm,
But I'd say that was like the first song that really got me into him, which
mhm.
I would say would be Big Rings. Um, but if we're talking like favorite song ever,
Yeah. So
God, dude.
do you know what a favorite song is? Look, my uncle who was a musician, he told me what it means, like a favorite song. A
Yeah.
favorite song is a song that you could put on at least once every day for the rest of your life. That's a favorite song.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, so there's a few. I'll probably give you my number one. If I were to
Yes.
put it on the aux right now and just re-listen to it, I'd probably say
At least once a day for the rest of your life, bro.
Aston Martin music.
Aston Martin music. Okay.
I'd say Aston Martin music. It was when that song came out, that was seeing Drake obviously get into his rap bag and his singing bag primarily. But I was also such a big Rick Ross head. The crossover vibe for that. It's such a timeless song. I mean, you could put that song on anywhere and cruise in any situation and feel like you're ready to go get money. You're ready to go, get a coffee at the coffee shop and you're the man when you walk out because that coffee's hot as
Mm,
fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those songs that make you feel
word.
good. You
That's
know what I
what's up.
mean? I would say Aston Martin music's probably my go-to. And on top of that, like with my friend Aaron, he's one of my childhood buddies growing up, Aaron Kane. Shout out AK. He would play that song like no fucking other when I go over to his house all the time. We used to make fun of like, Rick Ross's like ad libs, like whoa, like
Well, yeah.
whoa.
Oh,
We
oh.
used to, yeah, we always used to say that and like, Drake's ad libs and stuff. Like we'd be all on that. So I'd say
So
that one for sure.
so this is also a big debate on the internet. Does Drake have a classic album?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is
No
it?
doubt. Fucking if I could, hopefully it's the right name.
You can't think of it. So how does he
I
like
don't
come on,
listen to him
man?
like that all the time. That's the thing. Like like he's not somebody I listen to on a daily basis, but if we're talking rap culture, like if in my opinion, out of his catalog albums, I mean, I feel like it's dead in the middle between Take Care and Nothing Was the Same. And
Okay.
in all honestly, God, that's so hard though. I mean, he has a lot of classic albums, but like if we're talking classic debut, God, I mean, I'd have to probably go with Nothing Was the Same
Well,
for me.
it's interesting that you said that he has a lot of classic albums because people are
Yeah,
saying that this is the big difference between him and K Dot is that Drake doesn't have a classic album. So I really because I
right.
respect your opinion so much because of the musical ear that you have. So if you're saying that he does
I think he does.
have a there's gonna be a SouLivate drop right here when you said I think he does.
I personally think he does. I don't think all of his albums are like, if we're talking like 100% classic, like I don't think every album he has is like classic Drake, but he's got like, I'd say at least like one or two that are like Drake staple albums, like staple in the classic world of hip hop. Like, you know, if you got like an OG copy of that when it dropped X amount of years ago, that bitch is going to be fucking remembered like X amount of years later, 20, 30 years later. I definitely think like, I'd say like either Take Care, like Nothing Was the Same. I'd say Nothing Was the Same for me. Something about that album is different. I mean, he got in so many different bags, so many different lanes. I mean, no, just that era of like 2000. I believe it was 2010, right? It was no, it's 2012.
Yeah. So
yeah,
look,
2012.
So as far as like old farts and purists like me, basically this is what people are saying, and I kind of agree with it. Is that Drake lacks, like, no one questions his musicality, but as far as content, that's what people judge him the most. That it's too much repetitive. He's not letting us into his life like too much. It's only, you know, mostly like girl problems. And I think this is why people are questioning, does he have that socially content, you know, full like classic album, man?
I think new time frame, I think right now that applies. I think maybe 20 years ago or maybe 10, 15 years ago, maybe not. Because again, that was a different era. That was a different Drake. And I feel like, you know, once the internet really took over and made rap so glorified and, you know, the media and such, then it's like now rappers have to hold up to this, you know, flexy, you know, current wave of what, you know, people are talking about. Whereas like, I feel like if you go maybe back to like Take Care, like, you know, you go back to like Nothing Was the Same, or like even So Far Gone, you know, there's some different, there's a different lyrical, I feel like, approach and storyline to what he got into.
Yeah. Listen, man,
I don't know.
we gonna get out of here because we got a session tomorrow. I want you to get some rest. So I'm gonna say what I say, and then you take us out of here. Look, to all you SouLivate fam out there, what I said in the beginning, don't shy away from posting your comment. Just remember to keep the love. Remember to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? And your opinion matters no matter what your opinion is.
Absolutely.
And if we disagree, that's even better, because that means that we can build, man. So all you SouLivate fans and everybody out there, that family, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate y'all. Y'all make this, you know what I'm saying, this whole thing possible, man. And Spence, take us out of here, bro.
Just like what he said, thank you to all the SouLivate fans for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? We've had a great little hour and 30 amongst us talking about a whole slew of things, from my band to Eminem to, you know, Drake. And, you know, we're glad you guys tune in and love the content that we do. And we hope to see you next time.
Thank y'all, man. Uno.